This week on the RC Shop, we give the boss's new car a paint job, we get back to work with Frank, and we start the final steps of the Highway 1 project. Last week we looked at the boss's new car and the Ford GT body he wants us to paint. The body is made of 3 parts total that will need painted individually. We'll start by laying out the color separation. I cut thin strips of black vinyl to use as mask. Using these thin strips, I lay out the color separation for the Gulf Racing livery. The second piece of the body lays on top, so I'm going to have to transfer the stripe location. It's important you don't get any bleed under your mask, so I use a heat gun and a squeegee to form over curves. Then I use some thicker tape to finish masking the body panel. A few areas remain unmasked, but will be covered by decals later. Complex curves can be difficult and are a risk for overspray. One way to combat this is to keep your spray pattern perpendicular to the piece, not on an angle promoting bleeding. Use a microcloth to wipe any fingerprints or oils off the painting surface. Bleeding is inevitable, as you can see. No worries, we'll clean it up with a bit of paint thinner and a Q-tip. There's also a bit of bleed through in the back. No problem, we'll fix that up later. Before I painted the blue, I taped a paint stick to the top of the panel so I had better control while giving the paint and keeping myself a little cleaner. Next, I removed the thin mask to reveal the black stripes. Next, I can lightly use an X-Acto in the back to clean up that bleeding problem we had. A coat of black and the top panel is finished. The most satisfying part of the whole process is peeling off the protective coat to reveal that high gloss finish. I apply the decals to the top panel, which are very easy to get air bubbles or to misposition. So here's a old sign maker's trick. Add a small amount of liquid soap to some water and coat your decals before applying. This allows easy removal of air bubbles and even repositioning if needed. The three parts of the body are assembled together using double-sided tape and some small hardware. I start by laying out the instructions and matching the pieces of tape to their positions. With the tape carefully applied, I can remove the backing paper and carefully position the top panel.
Next level. Next level.
The back panel has exhaust tips and rear lights that need assembled and attached.
Next level.
We mount the body to the chassis, and I think the boss should be happy.
Next level.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll get back to work with Frank and his project. Hey Frank, you ready to get back to work? I'll take that as a yes. Okay Frank, let's give a quick review of what we've already assembled. Steel 4-link suspension, 390 25-turn motor, housed by a steel frame. Frank, enough! A Spectrum servo. Holy crap! Alright, back to work. I'll start by having Frank install the front and rear bumpers. That has the full chassis complete. Next, Frank bolts on the wheels and tires to make it a full rolling chassis. Frank, be careful! Man, Frank, that was a hard hit to your head. You feeling okay? Let's mount the front and rear lights. Frank, you sure you're feeling better? Next, we'll install the battery straps and the double-sided tape for all the electronics. How did you manage this? Now that we got Frank unstuck, we install the battery and the electronics. And the running chassis is complete. So we turn our attention to the body, starting off with adding the window mask. I helped Frank out by giving the body a quick silver paint job and adding a faux wooden bed. Okay Frank, get back to cleaning, but we're not done with this project yet. Frank and I are going to keep working on this barrage and build it up into a cool budget rig. But the best part is, when we're done, we're going to end up giving it to one of you guys. All that's required to enter this giveaway is that you're a subscriber to the channel. Stay tuned to the weeks to come for your opportunity to enter this giveaway, and good luck. Next episode, we're going to get back to work on the Highway 1 project. We'll give a coat of paint to the bed after adding the tie-down hooks that weren't included with the Marlin crawler. Highway 1 RC sent a light kit with this project, but the LEDs are just too big. So I had an RC 4-wheel drive kit ordered up, and those fit just fine. Last, we'll have a winch and an ESC that we need to get mounted up. Should be no problem. That's it for this episode, guys. I thank you for joining me. Stay tuned next week. We'll continue working on the Highway 1 project and maybe another project that we're going to start with Highway 1 also. Little sneak peek for you. If you would, hit that subscribe button. If you want to keep up with these projects, hit the like button if you enjoyed what you saw. Please feel free to share this video if you'd like. Also, hang around and take a look at Bill's heavily modified RGT RC4, and I'll see you guys next week.